everyone, it's Tara from Teach Without Tears, and welcome to Teaching Tip Tuesday. Today I'm coming to you from my house instead of my school. Normally I try and do the teaching tip from school because that's where all my school supplies are. So I was trying to think, what could I share with you this week from home? And that's when I got to thinking that I could actually show you some of my favorite reading websites to use. Since we've been talking about reading and I showed you my classroom library and talked about ways to get free and cheap books, another way to get books for your classroom and articles is online. There are so many resources out there. So in just a second, I'm going to be sharing my screen with you and taking you through some of my favorite websites, and hopefully you'll be able to find something new to use in your classroom. So here we go. The first website I want to tell you about is ReadWorks. There used to be articles on ReadWorks that you had to print and then the students could answer the questions on paper. But they went ahead and put all of their articles online, which is absolutely awesome. You can just assign them in Google Classroom. Your students go in and answer the questions, and ReadWorks will tell you how they did. There are a lot of different ways to find articles on ReadWorks. One way is by topic up here at the top. You can also choose by grade level, and you can also do it by what the articles have with them, what types of questions they have. So if I wanted to search for an article by strategy, I would just click up here, and over here on the side they have all the different subtopics. So if I were working on, say, fact and opinion this week, I could click there and find an article for my students. You can see the grade level right beside here. You can also come over, I teach third grade, so I would click on the 3, and it'll bring up all the third grade articles that practice fact and opinion. So when I choose one of these, if I wanted, say, Washington rides again, you can see here that there's an article about Washington. They also have it that you can play the audio. So if you have a student who isn't reading at a third grade level, but you want them to do the same article as the other students, it will read it out loud to them. There's also vocabulary practice with each of the articles. And there are question sets, which is my favorite part. Your students can answer the questions to practice their reading comprehension, and there's even written answer responses, so this is great practice for standardized tests if you're in a tested grade. When you find an article that you like, you just come up here to the top and click Assign. You tell what parts of the assignment you want your class to do, and you can even differentiate the assignments and only assign it to specific students, or you can give it to your whole class, and then you set a due date and click Assign. And then when your students come into ReadWorks, they'll be able to see what they need to do. There are so many different articles in here. My students find them really high interest, and it gives me a lot of good data to use to form my strategy groups. So ReadWorks is definitely one of my favorite reading websites. Another website that I love to use for reading is Freckle. You may have known it as Front Row. They just recently changed their name over to Freckle Education. And the one thing that this has that ReadWorks doesn't is that each article comes on different reading levels. So this particular one is on a level 3.1, 4.3, 5.5, 8.1, and 10.9. So this is perfect for differentiating. You can give each student in your class the same article, but they'll be reading it at their reading level, which is incredible. So again, you can choose what article you want by topic up here at the top. When you find one that you like, you can just click on it, and then you can change the grade level. So I'm going to change it to a third grade reading level. And you can see that they have the article on the left and the questions on the right, which is incredible also because that's exactly how our standardized test is set up on the computer. They have the passage and then the question. So this is great practice for taking those standardized tests. So then I can just click Assign up here at the top, and it'll show me that, well, because I don't have the school edition, so I can assign 5 articles this month for my class. I had school edition last year because of some referrals that I had done, and that gives you unlimited articles. So if you are not a member of Freckle, you will be able to do 5 articles a month, and you'll be able to see how your students did on them. The next one that I love is Epic. And the reason I love Epic is because of the selection of books. There's such a wide selection. You can find books about anything on Epic. And when your students join, they'll get a class code that they'll be able to go in under, and they can choose any of these books, and they can search by author, title, or keyword up at the top to find something that they're looking for. This was extremely helpful when we were doing our animal research. Each student had a different animal that they were gathering facts about, so they just typed in their animal's name, got all the different books, and were able to use that for their research. If there's a topic your whole class is working on, what you can do is you can create collections, and by creating a collection, you can then assign it to your students so that they're able to access the books that you want them to read. So Epic has tens of thousands of books, and it's great for a reading workshop as well, because if you don't have a huge classroom library, your students can go on Epic and read books that are high interest, and I haven't found a student yet that can't find something on Epic that they enjoy. The next website that I want to show you is Storyline Online. This is kind of like Epic because it does have books that will read aloud to you. On Epic, some of the books read aloud, some of them students have to read themselves. On Storyline, all the books are read aloud, and they're read by famous people. So my students love seeing who is reading each of the books to them. I use Storyline more as a center when everybody is going to be practicing the same skill. That way, even my students who couldn't read the book themselves will be able to hear it to be able to practice the strategy we're doing that week. And then once everybody's done, we can come together and discuss what they found out. The last reading website that I want to show you is Reading Express. I only discovered this one last year, and I did the free trial. They give you a 1-month trial, and it was absolutely incredible. I can't sign in anymore because my trial expired, but my students begged to do it every single day. It was very motivating for them because they would have to read passages and answer questions, but then they earned tokens that they got to use then in a store to buy different things, and they absolutely loved doing that. There was also an arcade they could do, and the one thing that I really liked about this program as well was that it had a vocabulary piece to it and a spelling piece to it. Those are two areas that my reading program is really lacking, so being able to have them go on Reading Express to practice those skills was a huge help. Now, once you get that 1-month trial and it runs out, you can subscribe. I'm actually going to do that for next school year. I just didn't sign up yet because I didn't want my year to run out before the end of the school year did. So I'm going to be doing that. I have money from the PTO that they give us every year, and it's almost going to cover my whole class. And I'll just have to put out a little bit of money, but we loved it so much that it's definitely worth it in my opinion. So those are 5 of my absolute favorite reading websites for my students. I'm going to include a link down below that has all of the links to those websites and gives even more details. I'll tell you about why my students loved them too. Those are the reasons that I loved them, but my students really enjoyed each of them as well. So make sure that you like this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more teaching tips, and also turn on notifications so that you'll be alerted every time that there is a new video. I'll see you next week for Teaching Tip Tuesday.